With great power comes great responsibility.
Okay, kids, it's time to listen to Mom. Today we're going to discuss Spider-Man and why he is the most beloved superhero. By far the most searched online. It's kind of odd, isn't it? Spider-Man, like a spider, kind of a simple name, does not really imply being the strongest like Superman. But a spider of all things, like Spider-Man, it might as well be like, it's Rockman, which is Mega Man, you know, like kind of does have something there. But yes, okay, so when we think about Spider-Man, it's the theme of today's video. It's all one theme, okay? If you want to click off the video, here it is. It's because of how relatable Spider-Man is. It's the main reason we love him, but I've been thinking so much about this and the topic of why Spider-Man works and why other comics or superheroes don't, unless we love something about the personality. Speaking of which, yes, we could love Spider-Man because yes, he is funny. His stories are solid. It does have, you know, it's a great comic book. The costume is great, but let's be honest, at the end of the day, the subgenre of that relatability, he is relatable. Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, the real Spider-Man, has struggles like us. He is essentially a loser. Peter Parker is an everyday person. At the end of the video, it comes full circle and why Peter or anyone who is Spider-Man will always work. Even Miles Morales. If you watch the most recent, it has the same themes, which is great. It's why I understand. I get it. Nobody can ever argue this. So the first one, strained relationships, another relatability topic, right? Because he has to struggle being a superhero. Almost everyone's relationship, friendship, or who he knows is on a tight leash in terms of time. He struggles. So here's another one, time management. I almost didn't even write this one down, but time management is also a big theme here. He can't tell people what he does because he'll put those who he loves at risk. So spoiler on this, and this is because we all know who Mary Jane is, okay? This is an important relationship, but I'm warning you, you can click away if needed, but if you love Spider-Man, you kind of already know this. Like, this one is one of the most iconic comic book things that have ever occurred. So you click away, 3, 2, 1. The reason Mary Jane exists is because his perfect ideal girlfriend, Gwen Stacy, did die. We're not going to say any more, no more spoilers, but it's important we say this because if you don't know that, again, I don't know sure why you're watching this video. Do you love Spider-Man? Do you know who Spider-Man is? So Mary Jane was made to give Spider-Man back tension and problems. Gwen Stacy was perfect for Peter and supported him and knew his struggle. She understood him. She knew that he was Spider-Man. But the problem in the comic books is that he was not relatable because he wasn't struggling as much. He was going to marry her. Everything is like he got the girl. So what happens after this? It's why I say Mary Jane is not his ideal girl. It's just another barrier. It's another struggle. She is not perfect for Peter. You know, realistically, there's other women who would be better for Peter Parker. It's really sad because Peter never gets a good ending, or a perfect ending, I should say, because there are some things where it's like, yeah, it worked out, kind of, but he gets a realistic ending, which is why it's so sad. It's almost like you're reading a tragedy at all times. There's been many jokes online. You can go to Reddit or anywhere where people say, like, Peter just always loses. Like, the comic book writers hate him. And it's not that, because that's not the theme. The theme is, to the next point, is that Peter never wins. He compromises, which is what we all do in life. And the end, even in the most recent films, he always makes some sort of sacrifice to do what he does, because he has to make hard choices, which is really sad, and it's why we love him. Take a shot for every time we say sad. He doesn't have billions of dollars. He doesn't always get the girl. He doesn't get what he wants. He fights for what he should. It's why the statement, with great power comes great responsibility, we show this text on screen because it is the most important statement, has so much weight. Responsibility. It's an obligation, essentially. We have to make those changes. We have to do the things that are morally right. It's a responsibility that we have to uphold. And the next one comes up, and holding that responsibility is realistically Peter fails. So we semi-stated this one prior about not having money, but he loses his jobs. He doesn't show up on time with time management. He fails his courses. He lets down Mary Jane. He lets down those who love him. He can't always be there for them the way he should. He has to choose between this life, and it's almost like forced upon him, but Peter is a good person because he has a good moral compass and knows what the right thing is. He is brilliant, but I mean, it's hard to manage time when you have multiple gigs in your life, and especially one that requires you always on the job. But he doesn't get to put the job on hold because people, when they need to be rescued, That is the job. He has to put his life on hold. And it's a thankless job where he never gets praise. Again, because if he was putting himself out there, then it would be because he's putting those at risk, which would be selfish of him, which is also why he becomes such a important superhero. Like, here's a bunch of list of superheroes that we all know. Tony Stark, multi-billionaire genius, and everyone knows who he is, right? He gets to come out and say, I am Iron Man. Superman, not of this world. We'll go into some DC. Batman, relatable from the loss, which is why we understand Batman through the psyche there, but is also a billionaire. Hulk is literally a genius who is dealing with gamma radiation. Thor was a god of thunder. Steve Rogers is Captain America, man at a time. He comes from a time period we did not grow up in. We know we have Black Panther, a leader of a whole country, essentially. Fantastic Four, brilliant scientists with plenty of money and family. You got Vision, who is just an AI. All of these things, when we go down the list, you can keep going. I know you can comment and say, well, this person maybe. No. Listen, at some point, maybe they come close, but nobody comes to the relatability of Spider-Man. Because if we see this list comparing to him, Spider-Man is just a dude who got bitten by a spider. He still has the problems he still had before. Nothing really changed. He is smart, but Spider-Man, this is the biggest point when you step away from this video. Spider-Man could be any of us. That is the last point. It could be you watching this video, someone's friend, a parent, sibling, coworker. At the end of the day, it is just your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.